Hi, everyone. This is Rhonda Cobb, the Money Coach, and welcome to the show. This week we have a really good show that we want to talk about something that is so serious, and yet it's it isn't serious. It's just all about care and concern. So I want to welcome our guest. She is going to give you so much good information. Cheryl Conley is a licensed social worker and she is the social services director for MemoryLane Care Services. MemoryLane is an adult day center in Toledo and it also offers support for the family caregivers of people who have dementia or memory related diagnoses. Cheryl completed her master's degree in counseling right here in Northwest Ohio at BGSU, and she's worked in the field of aging for more than 30 years. So we are going to get our information from someone who really knows the information. Welcome to the show, Cheryl. How are you?
Thank you, Rhonda. I'm very pleased to be here.
Oh, it's so good. I know when I came and I toured the facility, I was so happy to see what a lovely facility it is. And the people were so engaged in what they were doing and they all were happy and nobody, nobody looked neglected, whether it was staff or people that were being served by the staff. And that's really saying something in this day and age. So tell us about the adult day center because I was surprised. I think other people will be too.
Adult day centers have been around for a while. I was looking over some old notes from 1987. You'll have to do the arithmetic on that since you're the math lady. And even back then, I was writing, even if you've heard those words, adult day center or adult day care, people aren't really sure what it is. And if you want to give care to a frail elder, the first thing you think of is home care or nursing home. Adult day centers are another option. They're all around the country. By the name, you can tell you're only going during the day. And because people come to us basically already dressed and ready to start the day, our staff is spending their time being with them, laughing and doing activities. And as you say, there is no measure of discomfort and neglect. I think sometimes when people tour day centers, they think, oh, these people aren't very frail. Look how together they are. But that's because they're so supported, people can, I don't know, perform. That's kind of the wrong word, isn't it? But act at their highest functioning. So sometimes you can't even tell who is it has dementia and who doesn't have dementia. They're very joyous places. We change up activities about every 20 minutes, but if you're doing chair tai chi, it's really about laughter. If you're doing tabletop horse races, it's about laughter. If you're doing exercises, it's about laughter. There's just, activities all day long, but it's really about being together. And I think at home, we don't like sit around slapping our thigh and say, ah ha ha, that's the funniest thing I ever heard. Homes are quieter places. Well, we're not noisy. But
no,
yeah,
you
it's a
weren't
joyous
noisy,
place.
but you were a small community.
Community. I think that's what you're trying to aim for. You're a small community.
Uh-huh. And think about it from the perspective of, well, say a money coach. When I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, think of all the caregivers that they're literally so stressed their hair is ready to fall out. And if they could see how engaged the people are and how well cared for they are, that they would feel such relief in knowing that I can shift this burden of care for this many hours per day and I can go to work or I can go do the things that I need to do without having to worry about my loved ones, care and safety and food and all of those things that go into caring with somebody or caring for somebody who is no longer able to 100% care for themselves.
I couldn't say it better. And I think things that keep caregivers from coming to places like Memory Lane Care Services and other day centers, it isn't strictly only lack of knowledge that there are such things, but also you don't know if you can trust someone to take care of such a vulnerable person. Because people with dementia are very vulnerable and they can't necessarily report back to you when uncomfortable things happen. And we have a saying, we always say, all these caregivers, they do everything about 6 months later than they should have oughta. But sometimes, to tell the truth, it's way more than 6 months. Instead of sharing the caregiving burden, they're almost like heroes. Someone said caregivers are modern day saints. Um, they'll say, no, I can get her up. I can get her dressed. I can get her on the toilet. I can get her makeup on. I can get her jewelry. I can clean the bathroom floor. I can clean. I can. There's so much to do. It's better to share the burden, I think. Well, a lot of caregivers wouldn't like us to use the word burden, would they? To share the caring. To share the caring.
Yes, but it's similar to, I think back to when I was a young parent. Yeah, I could do it all. Work a full-time job, take care of the kids, clean the house, yada, yada, yada. The whole long list goes on and on. And almost every other woman that's ever had a family knows exactly what I mean. But oh, the relief of when my dear aunt decided that she wasn't going to work a full time job anymore and she would be glad to work at my house and help take care of my toddler. And
Yeah.
the relief of having someone that I knew would take care of my little bundle of joy, and I could go to work, and I worked nights. So actually, my aunt was there during the day, and she would keep my daughter engaged while I got to sleep. And then when it was time for me to wake up, she would let my daughter knock on the bedroom door and go, "Mommy, mommy, mommy, are you in there?"
Yeah, I
So,
my grandma lived with us, and I think that's why I got such a passion for being around older adults. And but it was nice having a family member take care of your child because you knew they shared the same values too.
exactly, exactly.
And then our caregivers have another reason for not wanting to come to adult day centers, even if they've ever heard of it, and that is they'll say, "But he won't want to come, or she won't want to come," and they're the one who knows the person best, and I would never argue with that because why would they want to come? Why would they want to come to a place where you are not, and they don't know anybody? They don't know what's expected of them. They don't even know, where the restrooms are. All I can do is assure you that once they start coming, they love it, love it, love it, love it. I mean, you're greeted at the door with, "Hey, Helen, that sweater really brings out the color of your eye." Such enthusiasm and warmth. Unless you own a dog, no one else is greeting you with all that enthusiasm, and people like
That's
it.
true. Someone was coming in that day as I was leaving, and that is how they were greeted. It was amazing. So, you know, the the people are going to have the question. You know, there's a focus on Alzheimer's and dementia, and then memory related disorders. People
hmm
think that Alzheimer's and dementia are synonyms. Are they?
You know, for practical perspective, I suppose, and then if Alzheimer's is the word that the people around you understand, go ahead and use it. But no, they aren't synonyms. Dementia is a set of symptoms. It's a general term saying I'm having trouble with my thinking. I might have trouble in my memory or my processing, my thoughts, or I'm having trouble thinking. And it's a decline from where I used to be. But why do I have dementia? Did I have dementia because I got Alzheimer's disease? Do I have dementia because I have strokes? Do I have dementia because I got some of these diseases you might not have heard of, like Lewy body or Pick's disease or Creutzfeldt-Jakob? Why do I have all this trouble with my thinking? So most people I meet, they just get a diagnosis of dementia, and you never find out which one it is. But Alzheimer's is one of the dementias, one of the ways you get dementia. So I suppose if you were to be exact, you'd start calling everything dementia instead of calling it Alzheimer's. But I get it. People don't know that word, so might as well call it Alzheimer's to your friends. But that I would like to know which dementia I have, to tell the truth.
Yeah, I would probably too, but I think Alzheimer's is a better known word, as you say, but dementia does describe more than just Alzheimer's. Well,
Yeah.
well, now that we're all not as young as we were when we got up this morning, how do we know if our memory lapses, like where did I leave my keys this time, are normal because we're not as young as we were when we got up, or if they're an early sign of some sort of dementia?
It would be lovely, wouldn't it, if it were just so simple and there were clear, bright lines to tell what's normal aging and what's not. But unfortunately, it's more you have to put together a larger picture. So the memory changes and the speed of your brain processing and all these different brain things, it all starts happening shockingly early, like around age 45. Maybe you used to be good with names, and all of a sudden you're horrible with names. You can't find your car in the parking lot, or you just find that the young person at the fast food carryout, they talk too fast. I can't follow what they're saying because your brain is slowing. It all starts around age 45. By the time you're 70, you really notice these changes, and that isn't even dementia. That isn't even anything abnormal. It's just an inefficiency in the brain. So you start having to put together a picture. So if there is no clear, bright line with memory, maybe I need to look more towards reasoning and judgment. If someone who used to always make excellent judgments, although I have to say, some people their whole life are bad at judgment. It's usually around romance and money, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
But let's say you had someone who used to be great with money, and now they're making incredibly poor decisions. I would wonder, are they having a medication affect their thinking? Could this be early signs of dementia? If you have someone who loses things and then can't retrace their steps, if I lose my keys, I ought to be able to think real hard, where was I with those things? I know I didn't leave them at the store because obviously I got home. Did I leave them in the door? But I ought to be able to think real hard. I don't necessarily find everything I lose, but I ought to be able to think real hard. I wouldn't run up to the attic where I haven't been for 6 months looking for my keys, or down to my neighbor's house. Did I leave my keys here? So you start building a picture of what's just normal forgetfulness and what is a real problem with judgment and thinking and reasoning, decision making. Why would we say old age is a time of wisdom if people couldn't think well? I would suspect a medication problem or an illness or dementia.
Well,
Yeah.
I know from having, a really big family and very precious aunts and such that it is something that people look for as people age. I know that